Good morning, good afternoon. Kent Bain with Nine Business Group and Elevate Your Business Spotlight interview. We have Jeff Woods joining us today. Jeff, please introduce yourself and give us your company name and tell us a little bit about you guys and what you do and what makes you unique. Jeff, welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me. I'm Jeff Woods. I'm one of the co-founders of Neobi Technologies. Our business is in data analytics for the Canadian cannabis industry. Specifically, we help licensed producers gain visibility into the inventory distribution, volume, and velocity of their products in market. And I guess our kind of unique value proposition is we help licensed producers not just with raw data, which is often a new problem unto itself. We help them synthesize that data through a bit of a consultative method to help focus their sales teams towards retail opportunities that move inventory.
Have you been at this from day one in the cannabis industry in Canada? And then part two of that question is, in that time frame, what has been the biggest challenge you've had to overcome? And has it been resolved? And what does it look like today?
Yeah, we started out kind of small, not really knowing what we were going to do. So our CEO and one of our other co-founders had built this originally just collecting data in the Alberta market. Originally, he had built out an API solution and was having a tough time kind of finding traction, mostly because API integrations are for a fairly technical audience. So we kind of meandered around product modality for a little over a year. This was just before legalization. And then once legalization hit, we started to understand the problem a little bit better that licensed producers were challenged with. And then that ultimately led us to kind of through, again, better understanding our audience, build a product specifically to suit their needs, narrow our audience down, and start to architect the product around those user issues.
And has it been resolved now and you're happy with the way it currently works? Or is it like most things in business, a work in progress?
The work in progress, 100%. And it's a dynamic environment as well that's constantly under compression. There are some federal mandates, there are provincial mandates, so every province has got kind of a unique challenge to it. Licensed producers deal with business development and sales growth in unique ways. One of the kind of in the weed unique value propositions that we bring specifically to LPs is visibility into inventory tracking, which is a fairly complex problem to solve for in our data acquisition, but one that brings substantial value to their teams. So it's a bit of a heavy lift. So we went deep with our data as opposed to going broad, which I think has paid off in the long run. As sales teams with licensed producers become more and more challenged, it's more and more important that their limited resources are focused towards those opportunities that are going to increase revenue the most. And that's how we help facilitate them by cutting through all the complexity of millions and millions of lines of data and just consolidate it down into some actionable intelligence that anybody could pick up and go make an impact.
Just a slight deviation to the question. As you look forward, I don't think I do apologize. I'm not sure if I sent you this question, but I wanted to add it anyway, so I'm going to ask it. I'm going to be brave. What are you looking to accomplish in the next 6 to 12 months as you look at the landscape and growing and accomplishing your business goals? What do you want to accomplish in the next 6 to 12 months?
I think in the near term, we're fairly focused on operational efficiency, number one. Finding, as we kind of were working to refine what our product suite looked like, I think we've now better than ever understood the specific use case for the application of that. So we've been able to kind of cut the fat a little bit in our product development roadmap. And then further to that, the accuracy of our data becomes more and more important as we offer more refined solutions with it. So there's some technological barriers that we need to overcome. And there's obviously some exciting stuff with machine learning and AI that can help support some of that workflow. So a deeper investment into our development bench and our overall kind of core product suites are our key focus for the moment.
Cool, thank you. if there was a pirate or a thief in your business hacking into your software, pounding down your door, breaking in through the skylight, what would they be stealing?
To me personally, or to the business?
To the business.
I would say to the business. It's a good question. I would say that we're challenged mostly by articulating the value that our deep data set provides. Typically our customers, sometimes there's data analysts, sometimes there isn't, but communicating less that data is useful, because it isn't, it's a tool. Internally, we use this analogy of like, my car is broken down and we're out there trying to sell a wrench. I mean, a wrench could be part of the fixing a broken down car, but it's really not the solution. So what we try to do is step back and, in recent months have completely transformed our sales process away from product level selling and into solution architecture. So keeping our customers focused on outcomes and how to use data as a tool, not necessarily thinking that data is the solution. That's probably been our challenge, is to really, really communicate, drive that home, and then invest internally in our sales process to be more consultative, helping their teams really cut through the breadth of data and get them super focused.
So it sounds like the biggest challenge really is, tying this back to the previous question, is not just cleaning up the specific use of the product or actually the data, but I think taking that next step then is even modifying the language of your sales team to truly add value in that relationship to the people you're having conversations with. So it's not just, here's a spreadsheet with the stuff figured out. It's more like, here's the various tools we have, or here's the tool bench, and here's how you can use it to achieve your goal. So to your point, more solution selling. Is that a better summary?
That's totally it. Yeah. I mean, if I can kind of maybe more specifically, so previously, because we all have kind of a bit of a product building background, our team's fairly technical. So when we would have conversations or pitches, we would be really focused on, here's this data and you can filter it this way and you can organize it this way and you can push it out that way. And we've got these different dashboards, and that's all useful, and people need to understand how to deal with the front end of a product. But what we've started doing now is just understand, what are the key initiatives that you guys have as a business? What are you focused on this quarter? How are you trying to move the needle? And then create a solution with them using our data as the tool. So I'll give you a specific example. We'll meet with a licensed producer that is focused on non-franchised retail locations in Alberta that are performing particularly well with a very specific product format, and perhaps one that their competitors performing really well in. We can produce a report for them that will rank those opportunities from 1 to 50 or 1 to 20. We give that to a sales rep. Starting at day one, let's benchmark our success against this and then track what that success looks like over time, which allows us to return to the customer in a period of time, 60 days, and say, with this focused report, your sales team was able to work on these high performance stores, and as a result, you've increased inventory velocity or sales by X%. And that's how we develop an ROI. And as long as our subscription cost is less than what they're generating in net new revenue, it's a pretty easy sale.
Interesting. What is your definition of successful business? Been at it for a few years now. I would imagine there has a certain view of the world when we enter the world, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as they say, and then we test, we measure, we have some success, we have some setbacks. So what is your definition of a successful business, and has it changed over the last few years?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'll maybe just start with from a team development perspective. I think one of the areas where we've had a lot of success has been with building an internal team of phenomenal people. This is a really, really talented group that I think, it at our size is kind of tough to be able to meet some of our other opportunities where they could perhaps make more money. But instead, we kind of have a policy of being very transparent about business operations. So everybody on our team gets to see the end-to-end process, and they get to feel the effects of their input. And we try to keep that as transparent and open so that everybody feels the benefit and growth of the business together. And that gets a deeper alignment with what we're doing as a business and allows us to build that kind of internal culture to grow. That would probably be the internal front. And then I would say, we're here to help an industry. This is a very challenged industry. It is legislated to no end. And we deeply empathize with our customers. We actually deeply empathize with the entire supply chain. And we exist to help democratize access and help licensed producers and everybody else in the industry flourish and have the basic means of information that any other CPG business would have. So we want to provide that accessibility and that opportunity to everybody in this industry to grow their businesses fairly.
So which leads right into the great next question. You were reading ahead. What do you want to be known for? When you look back upon your life's work 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what do you want to be known for when people go, I met Jeff, and insert sentence or two here?
I think that we want to be known for providing some of that impact to the industry and helping it grow and develop over time. And I'll go back as well to the internal, that we helped our team gain exposure and opportunity that they never would have had access to. And then I think on a personal note, to have kind of survived through a fairly tumultuous process. Startup is not an easy proposition, otherwise everybody would be doing it. And overcoming the challenges that you get along the way. Sometimes there's some low points and there's high points. And I think one of the things that as a team that we've learned to do really successfully is take those in stride and survive. I think we'll survive in this industry so long as we can not get completely knocked down. You got to sometimes make a few sacrifices and put in the extra hours, but that ability to keep the business going and keep everybody focused has been the biggest challenge, and I hope that's something that we're remembered for long into the future.
Well said. So shameless plug. Who do you want to find you, and where would they find you? So someone's watching this, what business are they running? And where would they get more information on what you do and how you can help them?
Yeah, our website is neobi.io, and we are specifically focused on helping licensed producers in the Canadian market. We do have some aspirations to extend into different geographies, specifically the US. There's some kind of interest in Germany, but people that would benefit the most from a conversation with us are those licensed producers and sales teams that are just looking to be more focused in their day-to-day operations and ensure that the transactions and the sales and their energy is focused on outcomes. And that's where we can provide support by means of data to help them in their day-to-day lives. Absolutely
fascinating. You've been gracious with your time. Thanks again very much for what you do. I think there's a lot of room for your service on the front end and helping. I've met a number of people in the industry, and there's a ton of frustration. So I think I'll just pass along from them to you, saying, keep up with the good work, and thank you for at least taking a step into it and trying to clean up something that is very messy. And I can only imagine how confusing. So have a great week. We're looking forward to staying in touch and hearing the rest of the story.
Great. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome.